Had my wonderful cousin Kendra with her private security department that she says that she doesn't have, and I make up all this stuff because she always hires a bunch of Mexicans and then fires them because they're Native Americans and they're not allowed to hire Native Americans. And they all take their money and spend it at these 3 or 4 strip clubs on the southwest side of Nashville, which I'm not supposed to know about. And they just come over here and do the construction in downtown Knoxville. So it's like most of them speak Portuguese too because they're Brazilian. So it's not like she can tell the difference between one Latin language and another. But anyway, just saying over it with Kendra and I, um, whatever the heck her last name is, she's a hyphen, I think. I don't think Joe finally broke her for that one. She wanted to tell me that there was no way any of my books would ever be done anything because Joe's the sixth cousin of that reality guy with the Helen ribs and back joke all the time, does Survivor and everything else, and one of the major producers. And it's like they constantly go on about how I am just trying to get Trump back, and they're on review actually for each one of my YouTube things and everything else, even though I can't pass a DNA test with any one of them, and I could back before I was 6 years old. Craziness with it all. And they're not selected for president or anything else like some of the people around here do. So, she can go through her whole kitchen screaming about how I can't pass a background check and need to be stuck on Risperdal and everything. And, it's like most of all the drugs that, the Burkheimers take, which for some reason they test 88% related to them now, instead of something like, my cousins or anything else, because I don't even test anything related to them. But I'm just saying honestly and openly with it and everything else with how they show that and how the United States upgraded their DNA and everything else, that it sounds more like a Roman anything when she starts talking more and more. And I go, this is the stuff movies are made out of. But, she did stop about, 30 seconds into her rant when I got to, how Mitch McConnell was an absentee father. But if any of the things that Chuck Schumer said was there, they could go out there and arrest the president for inciting violence in any way out there, which he is not under any public statement or anything. Hillary Clinton wasn't banned from YouTube or anything else for saying that the election was stolen from her, whether it was lack of planning, foresight, or insight into the voting system, which does mean rigged elections. Insight into the voting system. She just uses Southern language that's very obscure because the Democratic Party that my cousin Kendra and I and all the others out there are part of is not allowed to exist except from a stupid thing by Ronald Reagan that he made a presidential edict that no other president has removed for its existence. And the KKK, the Dixons, and everything else are a wing of the Democratic Party, just like the Dixiecrats. They go out there and change their name like a Tech 9 from whatever it is and go and sandbag and tag along with whoever they want to. Now, the Democrats, you want me to be political here, are just a bunch of rhetoric assholes that want to know how to make proper slavery and be like it was just a housing issue, it was just an employment benefits issue, and basically everything they bring up out there over it is, so you're saying that when I had slaves, I whipped them and didn't give them alcohol that was strong enough to stop infections. Stitches are going to have to be free now. Housing for the poor. 12 people in a room to one toilet, that is unsanitary. Keeps my workers at a healthier level so they'll all be out there doing whatever. Food stamps. They can choose what they eat. Free workout parks. Too many pipe bombs. White children will make them into that. Now let's go to Republicans. Republicans. Basically, they're just Northern Democrats, I've learned. They hate it if black people show up. They were the first persons that was termed Mexicans. That's why most of them all refer to Mexicans as black people. They'll work for cheaper, $2 to $3 underneath, And then since they brought in the concept of cheaper work in a factory, they will then make everything automated with what do you call them? Robots. We able to say robots, or is that still too racist for the Sundarban? With Robotniks. And I mean, this is just the honest truth with it. And you're supposed to be on all forums of everything. You're supposed to be on all this. And, true to form, it's like Mitch McConnell needs to have an Oriental standing next to him. And the Republicans need to do like Fox News did and have a black man standing next to him. And then we can just all understand that, the 80% of everybody who really doesn't have a voice in anything just goes, what form of chemical are you putting into government cheese that's going to hurt me or my kids or my chance of my kids or me having kids? Now, shut up. This is strictly addressed mostly to the idiocies going on in this criminal brain of someone who can't pass a DNA test. And even her husband at weddings and stuff that's videotaped and monitored by the DEA, because I'm going over to the leg breaker side of the family and the people who are the lobbyists from Galen Porter's drug unit and everything else. And it's like, you don't even realize that it's like, you keep looking and thinking technology stopped in 1970-something when they did The Godfather. And they got these big, 1950s flash things taking pictures of the license plates out there. And I'm just going, do you hear a faint over the Christie wedding? Seriously, you didn't? How the fuck could you not see that little thing? It's like a baseball with like a end coming off of it. And you actually think you're high enough up for any of this shit. But anyway, how do I know all this stuff? They just use the DEA like they hire your private security group for whatever the hell it is they hire out. Because you still suck. And your computers suck. And your IT department sucks. And just like the probably two black guys that you'll swear you looked over their credentials. I guarantee you they do not show you the 3 forms of identification that are in the Constitution. In any form or fashion. And you just believe them totally. And I'll even listen to one of you say that my tax return comes through an envelope handed to me that I just don't declare on taxes because they show me how it comes off there, and it adds up to about $17,000 to $20,000, and I pay my employees out of it for their work time or something else. And then there's the other ones that I do because they can't let my overseas work be known about. I know I'm not off, even though you all will bitch at me, but this is all the same thing that Chuck Schumer does. And if you ever call me a Republican again, I will spray paint you and your kids and everybody else red and make you have to go to school, including your hair. Do not call me Democrat either, because then I'll paint you blue and I'll send you to Kansas. That's not a threat, and you cannot do anything to me because Chuck Schumerisms. You're God. Because women aren't supposed to lead. And I just look at it and go, you're the breadwinner. And it's like, it's an intellectual response, and people disregard money with how they go intellectually. But this is the situation we live in, because we don't have a country anymore. We have a bunch of little countries called private security companies that are ran basically by replacement family members from, Nazi war criminal groups and the Roman principalities. And, just looking at that, I'm like, who cares about Burkheimers when you basically control all the media? Anyway, moving over, Kendra, whatever the hell it is, go to hell. Play with your nuts. Yeah, you got 2 for the girls. They're just hidden inside. President Trump being banned from Twitter and whatever it is, it's not like we're ever going to know what it is and have it specifically said and everything else. And it's like, just go out there, Kendra. That's why I don't use Joe's name that much, because you can just say you're a Nika. And it's like, Nika is deer in Belarus. And it's really not fanning the flames. Y'all would send me stuff through your friends to sign the thing over the rigged election of Hillary Rodham Clinton. Everybody just realizes one thing. Whatever you accuse this president of over and over, and you tried to say it was and everything else, is always the next president. And, maybe it's good that the president be suspended, be whatever it is from Twitter or anything else, but he is still the leader, and what he says is policy. And it is a national emergency in the election that we have. And it will take a year and a half just to go through all the election, everything, and go over it and look at it and everything else. But this is just how it is. And, I know most of the people over at Oak Ridge, like 37, that you all hang out with and, try and dye your hair like him, Kendra. Screw you. And that one police officer and the other ones out there that all say that I have to be on there because every time you open your mouth, it's like I'm sticking my cock in it. But at least I can talk to some people. This is just ridiculous. Now, should his post be taken down or edited? Bill Clinton was censored. That's the only way a president or a former president can be censored. Facebook is not the Congress. It is not a representative body. Neither is Twitter. They can't do it. It's the legal law. And technically the only person who can go in there and push the backspace button, and I'm sorry, Miss Barnett, Justice Barnett now, she's the new one there, so she's going to be doing that job. It's like the freshman. It's like it's only by a few months with that other guy or something else, or the other justice. Why? Still the youngest one there, or newest one. That's how the thing works here. Anyway, just for the local family hacking in there, and it's like whatever you're doing is trying to cut me through my lungs on the bottom of them, out the front of me. I just look at you all and be like, you just need to go somewhere else and go try to play belt locked with someone else. Because with me, I'm not related to that, war criminals family. Yes, he came in there. He is certified by everybody else. He can sign anything with anything he wants to over at this one place that I was working at. And I've watched him shoot a person there because he's scared of black people. He nearly pulled out his gun with me on there, and I could even tell with how quickly he jerked it up. He accidentally jerked up his cell phone. He can go and call my mom a prostitute, put a $20 bill in her pocket, and go, I just wanted to touch her tits for once. And I will always remember that from that guy. But at the same time, I didn't walk back in and go and get a gun from somewhere since he was there for so long. Not like they'd have noticed it or anything else at that one. And just come back there and be like, hey, can I get this gun after so long? Yeah, I need to go hunting with a 45. I know it went through your mind because I've had to listen to you all tell me, yes, that's exactly what's been going through your mind, everything else with that. And I'm just going, oh my God, Democrats really don't need guns. But considering you're basically like him and a war criminal, and I'm just going, wherever it is, and we can't pass a DNA test with the naval recon. That's not even that high up. I mean, it really sucks with this shit in this like prison territory area of whatever it is out there. And Jesse Darty said, you better have some proof of that. She's not even allowed to use any of the things here because she's a Kane and a Mussolini. We just have to give them all the money in the world. Because they go, look, more things, and I get to play with more things. I have to count each one until I can memorize each serial number on my dollar bill. I don't really care. I don't have a job, pretty much. I'm only there for however long they want to systematically torture me or anything else with it and all this other stuff, and watch every one of you all just kind of whatever. And, it's like, it's so funny whenever the Democrats want to bring in, hired thugs like, slave trackers or other stuff to, protect the place, but they couldn't get off their ass, and, the president had to go to Kenosha and bring in the Secret Service. And it's like they're not standing in the road and stopping them. The crazy one up the street that had the Ukrainian death camp for her family and everything else. And it's like they just have to stand in front of the street because the public is stronger than whatever it is, and let them keep running over each other. I mean, when they hack in here because their family won't let them watch television, and there's something like basically right over my back shoulder right here for whatever it is that they watch from. And it's like, I'm not going to fucking electrical tape the entire house like they told me to, so they can do whatever the hell it is, because, as millionaires, they can't, like you, buy cable and watch it. Kendra, I should be expecting more stuff from Lee and his family, but I'm not at work, which is where all their stuff basically is at, because they rent out parts of the area for their own private Secret Service time. And how can you have private Secret Service time off the books from the United States government? Liars. Don't worry, he's black. He's just not African. He's one of their colonizers that's gone away. And when he realizes that, he'll be able to be so much better. And I'm like, don't you bring up any of that shit here. I mean, technically you just need to take your pistol pepper ass and pepper pocket over there with you, stick your ass on a fucking spit and start turning yourself over the hot coals. Because, I mean, honestly, you suck. And it's like, Colin, you've just been around too many people, and the psychic powers have gone into you over racism and everything else. And you just cannot be near me because you've been around too many people. Basically, I have not worked the west side and the south side where there's rich and famous and important people at and everything else. And Colin, looking at me, and that's like, I will say you have the only cojones out there where a person has threatened me on the actual porch of my house when you came over, just to ask your all's opinion about, the private security cover-up of deaths or anything. And, the simple fact that, you just want to kill off everybody who's not glistening white cum balls of Rome and the Roman white race, that's separate from all other white races out there. And I just, look at it and go, how can your jawline before menopause look so much like a fucking Bruckheimer from the local area? I mean, these people with their mental diseases are just horrible with everything. I mean, and they think Donald Trump is bad for anything. I just look at it and go, well, Dogma and stuff hides half the stuff for Nancy Pelosi. And, it's like, it's not even Dogma that has to do with Catholicism, because it's like, it's California-Asianed. And, I mean, you just keep looking at it all the time, and, I mean, it's, oh, God, Catholic bashing. My name's Colin James Dawson, and I can't be communed by Great Britain and be part of its religious services. But your name is so... Get over yourself. Don't think about it too hard. Please do not think. That's right. Pixie dust and whatever else of your fucking self. Grow the fuck up. Your kids hear worse of it on the street with you going, we need to see how Republican war criminals, because they are war criminals because they're with the Republican Party. Just say that you were part of the people that were sent over here that were the four national king gods that usurped the United States in the actual... rule of its magic psychic powers, like in those psychic movies where they got like the superhero person and it's like, king, queen, power, do as I. We will do as you say and march under great Confederacy banners and everything blowing up. They're all dead and we're still here and we're having kids. It's still our colony. Keep trying to act like England can even survive, the hot weather south of, like, Virginia. They'll melt. Now, say any place else other than England, and Holland is just stuck on Long Island. It has to be south of Holland. Even further south than France And you can't always blame Spain and Portugal. You can blame Portugal right now a little bit more. And, any of the principalities that have gone and taken over the countries that are there because everybody has to descend from them, or they spliced their DNA and kidnapped the kings and said, put them in a blender. Here they are. I know this is a political suicide, but as far as it is, I just vote for the party that is the least Roman infiltrated, or that doesn't show up and is like constantly with the Roman boosters and everything else. And I still don't understand how you say the Republican war criminals, because they killed off all your servants that you were able to go doing everything, unless it had something to do with like some screwed up version of the Civil War and Abraham Lincoln really was hunting down vampires and everything else. But I mean, just being honest with you, I mean, I'm sure you can find some people that are brown and look Mexican like most of the Southern Confederacy did, and just keep going, I'm killing them for you, New England. Give me whaler money. It's the oldest. There's not really anything out there now. You little boy. I know how small your penis is. Insert that with, you don't know I'm coming after you to make you gay. You don't understand. I know you've never had an orgasm as a woman. So don't play it through here again or whatever it is with any of your stuff. It's like, I already have me in the DA thing, and I was bigger than Ron Jeremy back in the day. And, I don't really care about how big it is now with all the stuff that they've ever done, zapping me and everything else with mercury and nickel poisoning that's supposed to go directly to shrinking that. I can grind up dimes and quarters also and Washington nickels and deface the USA currency. After all, there's a reason why in the South they have those things to smash out Abraham Lincoln, and in California. It's always funny. It's like, no, this is a Republican representative area. What, there's no place to make the little pennies into whatever? You say that again, we'll arrest you. And I've been in California when they said that to us. And I was just an 8-year-old, and they go, there's nothing wrong with age restrictions with federal crimes. That means we can take you at any age. I just want to know where a good place was, and I went over there and hugged them. As everything can be said here, I just don't care anymore. Here's my political suicide, and the rest of you all can just suck it for the night. Oh, you'll leave me alone. Don't hit me in the middle of my backbone right now ever again.